Welcome to Table Talk, and thank you for joining us. Today's guest is Spurgeon and Macey Korth from the UCHRA to talk about Empower Upper Cumberland. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, we've had some representatives from UCHRA on the show in the past, but this is a new program under the direction of the UCHRA. Tell us, I guess, about what Empower Upper Cumberland is, its mission, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So Empower Upper Cumberland is a completely new program for the agency, but it's also a collective impact group made up of partners throughout the region with the goal of lifting 1,600 children out of poverty throughout the next 3 years for that program. So it's very unique. We were lucky enough to receive a TANF Opportunity Act pilot grant in order to bring this opportunity to the 14 counties of the Upper Cumberland. And that TANF Opportunity Act pilot grant was awarded to us this past fall. We began in November of 2022. And it was a $25 million grant that we received to bring those 1,600 children and 800 families out of poverty. So we've got a lot of different ways of how we're going to do that. Ultimately, our mission is inspiring and equipping families, individuals, and communities to prosper. So we've really worked with all of these partners to try and streamline how services are being provided to the families of the Upper Cumberland region.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of geared to not necessarily for the UCHRA to do everything, but to be a coordinator and get them in touch with people that can help in whatever need they may have.
Absolutely. There are so many great opportunities in the region and so many partners and programs in the region, and the whole purpose of this is to align all of those services in a way that makes sense so that families can ultimately reach their goals of being self-sufficient and having prosperity. And that's actually our vision, is prosperity for all. So that is how we're working. We've got these great partners. We're working on higher education pathway planning for education partners. We're trying to streamline our employment partners to work better together, and figuring out the best ways for community partners to work together for the ultimate mission of helping families in the region.
So you talked about the counties that you all serve, and I guess the Upper Cumberland UCHRA counties do encompass several in our territory. What are those?
For your territory specifically, I believe Cumberland, White, Van Buren, and Warren. And Warren County. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we have the remainder counties pretty much up to Kentucky, and Clay, Macon, Pickett, Putnam, all of those counties back down to this area. I could name them all if you'd like.
That's 14. That's quite a few. We might have to give you a prize if you could do that. So tell us, I guess, what needs that you all saw that weren't being addressed with kids and the families to get them to living prosperously.
Yeah, so the first thing was, it's not as much that there weren't needs being addressed, it was how the needs were being addressed. There are, like I said earlier, a lot of great programs and opportunities that families are eligible to seek services from. For instance, Families First, or TANF, what used to be called the old welfare. Then we have UCHRA services, and then we have our American Job Centers, which are great partners. But how we work together could be more aligned. And there's all of these programs out there, but it's almost a full-time job just to get the services and help that you need.
Just in one aspect, I guess, of that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
So we're really working with these partners and have added a lot of capacity to these agencies to better align services so that people can go in one direction and get more services rather than having to make all these different stops to just get their basic needs met.
Well, you mentioned about different, I guess it hit a light bulb with me that you've got education as one prong of what people may need, and then you've got maybe food and medical services and things like that. Transportation may be one of it. So when you think about providing something that and that most people in need some aspect of all of those. So you guys are kind of helping not just in one part of it, but possibly, if needed, bringing it all together.
Yes, yeah, and that's what we've done by hiring our navigators. So we have hired 24 navigators throughout the region. In your coverage area, we have 9 navigators just in the 4 counties that you guys have. And Macey, do you want to share a little more about what the navigator's role is?
Yeah, so like you mentioned, there are navigators in all 14 counties. So those are the first point of contact that those possible participants are, they're talking to them and, making a budget, things like that, connecting them to our partners, medical. We're partnering with CRMC Foundation. So if they're having, need some dental work, things that TennCare wouldn't typically pay for or that they're having a hard time getting access to.
Yeah.
And a navigator, that's I guess a volunteer, is that right? Or are they employees of UCHRA?
They're actually employees,
okay,
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We do have a lot of volunteers, but those are specifically employees for this project.
Okay. Now, I was impressed with the fact that you all didn't just have, some smaller counties, there might be one navigator, but it seemed like there were multiple navigators, sometimes 3 or 4 per county, which seems like that would be needed.
Yeah, like in Warren County we have 3, so but in Clay County there's only 1, so that's how we kind of.
And we based it off of population and need, the need for that area. So we broke it down by, of course, population, and then the individuals that were eligible for the program, how many navigators we needed to place in each county. And one thing to kind of make sure that we touch on, and we'll say this a lot, and you'll hear us say families pretty consistently, because that is the number one requirement of this program, is you have to be a family. You have to have children in the household, most importantly, when I refer to a family.
Okay. So if one takes on the role of a navigator, what specifically are they doing? Like they're the point of contact, and then they, I guess, listen to the needs. And how long does a navigator work with a family?
Yeah, so a navigator works with the family, and they do some assessments on the front end. We first, determine eligibility, make sure that they are in fact eligible for the program. And we do some assessments and some goal planning. So we, we'll look down and do some SMART goals of, what's some specific things that you're looking to do in the next 6 months, in the next year, the next 18 months. The length of time that a family is going to be in the program is going to vary from family to family based on what their goals are. So there is a time limit. We don't plan to extend anyone's time in the program after 18 months unless it's absolutely needed or they're just on the cusp of reaching the goals that they have. The biggest goal that we have, of course, with moving families out of poverty is increasing their income as significantly as possible, but we're focusing on other things too.
Yeah, and those navigators really are, a friend, a mentor to those participants. So that really makes it unique. Our program really, really unique.
Well, I would think too, if say one of the goals is more education, that person may need help navigating the educational system. As the parent of 3, sometimes I feel like I still need help in, navigating
all those applications.
Yes,
crazy.
College stuff and things like that, FAFSAs and all of that. It's almost like a new world that is. There's lots of opportunities, but you have to meet deadlines, and there's all kinds of hiccups that you could encounter. So the navigator, I guess, is helping them work through or teaching them how to overcome those things.
Yeah. And additionally, Tennessee Tech they're planning our education pathways for us. So they actually have staff hired to help families walk through just those things that you're talking about. Because we know if everyone loves the FAFSA. If you've never done it, you don't know how much you love it until you do. So they're helping families, both parents and the high schoolers, work to complete those applications and those FAFSAs and help them understand not only what opportunities are out there, but also the implications of taking out student loans or, what grants and scholarships are out there that they may not have known about otherwise. So we're hoping to have a lasting impact in that way to make sure that this next generation has a better understanding of financial literacy as well.
Yeah, it's so easy to take on the student loans and things, and the education is so needed, but there's a lot of responsibility that comes with that and a lot to think about.
Absolutely.
So tell us, I guess, how do families qualify to participate?
Yeah, so like Megan mentioned, they do have to be that family. You have to have children 18 years or younger in your household. Also, if your children are receiving free or reduced lunch, that's going to get you qualified. Section 8 housing, low rent housing. If you're at or below that poverty level, and also receiving TennCare.
Yeah. Food stamps, TennCare, or Families First, you're going to be automatically eligible as well.
Okay, and most people know, hey, I'm participating in that program, so it's going to kind of tell them, okay, I qualify probably for the Empower part.
Yes, absolutely. And the biggest thing too is even if people don't know whether or not they would qualify, let us be we can figure that out for you. We have all the ways to know. If families are all interested in bettering their circumstances and bettering the circumstances for not just them but for their children as well, and wanting a better life for both, we will figure out whether or not they're eligible. We just ask for a short application that we'll talk about here in a little bit.
So it looked like from the website there's also lots of opportunities for volunteers. What capacity, what role do they fill?
Yeah.
There's a couple different roles. I'll speak to more of the volunteerism in general, and then we'll talk about circles, which is a really great part of this program. But when we spoke of mentors and volunteers, that's something that we're always looking for people. If they are specializing or if they are in a field that could really help our families and they could step in and help teach some workshops for us, that would be great. One that comes to mind that we've already mentioned is financial literacy. There's a lot of payday loans out there, and there's a lot of our families who are interested in becoming homeowners. And when we're not experts in everything, we try to learn a lot about a lot of things to help our families as much as possible. But there's sometimes that we need to pull some outside help in to help us educate our families on things. So we're always looking for volunteers that have special skills that they could help increase the capacity of the families we're working with, and really also our employees also in helping us understand what's available. So that's a big way is kind of contributing, and that's a really big part of what we're doing with this community-based model. We do have a very large dollar amount for a grant, but it is a 3-year grant, so we're trying to put something in place that the community can help sustain long-term and make the Upper Cumberland a better place to live.
Okay, so like you said, if you have a particular skill set and it can be many other things.
Cooking.
We just named banking, for one thing, education, like anything like that. As you said, cooking and all of that. I'm sure there's many different types of volunteer roles that can be filled.
Yeah, and some that come to mind, I know that we have a great asset in the Biz Foundry in this area, and there's a lot of Etsy, opportunities that some of the moms that we have that could stay home and figure out how to do Etsy and use their special crafts to make an income for their family. So if there's anybody who has done that and would want to help educate our families on how to make that another stream of income for them, that's a big deal. Or even couponing. I know it used to be a big craze. It's not as much now, but we've had some people come in the past that have wanted to teach our families how to coupon and stretch their dollar even further. So there's just so many things so many assets in this region that people could volunteer a little bit of their time to help better.
I noticed I saw something on Facebook probably yesterday, and it was realtors really pushing a new grant that's out there for low-income people that want to build or purchase a home. And people like that are the experts on those type of things. We can't know everything.
Right, we're just trying to connect those dots.
Yes. So I guess let's talk about the partners in what role they fill in the collaboration.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So I spoke to some of them already, and I'll just kind of go through those 3 prongs as you put it. So we have our higher education pathway. We have that education pathway that Tennessee Tech is working on, not just for 4-year universities. We're also looking at community colleges and TCATs and short-term credentialing programs, and that's where they're looking to help our parents and our teenagers map out a plan and what works for them. We also have WCTE, our PBS affiliate, is doing what's called their Ready to Learn curriculum, and that Ready to Learn curriculum is how a parent can be the first and primary teacher in a child's life. So we are doing classes with the parents and kids together and helping that bonding and all of that, which has been really cool to see. So that's some of the education piece. Our employment piece, we have the Upper Cumberland Local Workforce Development Board. They are working to increase the understanding of our employers of what it's like to employ our families and to help them understand that, you know, they may need a little bit of grace in this area, and you may need to manage them in this way in order to retain them long term. So they're working on a retention program that they'll be providing to employers in the area who can also financially benefit from this, because we can pay a portion of their wages for a set amount of time for hiring our our families. So they hire our families and they're able to reap that financial benefit, as well as everyone needs a workforce right now.
Right,
so
right.
That's a
And
good
it's,
option.
you know, something that comes to mind as you say that is childcare, and it seems like childcare can be something that is so expensive. And then you've got people that are making minimum wage, sometimes working 2 or 3 jobs. You know, I hope that's part of maybe what the facilitation is and helping with that.
Yes, definitely. So in one of our other partners is the Upper Cumberland Development District, and they are looking at sustainability and gaps and barriers. So they're trying to understand what issues are out there, childcare being the biggest one, and they're diving in deeply into research of what we can do to increase the capacity for childcare in this region, and how we can get more childcare facilities up and going, and or other avenues as necessary. But something our navigators do is they know a lot about the different resources that are out there financially for childcare programs. The state of the Department of Human Services, who this grant is funded through, has really great opportunities and programs that can help people financially pay for childcare as well. We can connect those dots.
Yeah, it seems like there's a shortage, and then it's expensive, and then so many people work flex hours now, or non-traditional hours, I should say, and there's not a lot of childcare available during that. So I would think that'd be, especially for young single mothers or whatever the situation.
Yeah, definitely.
So I guess let's talk more about the Circles USA part of it and how that is unique.
Yeah, I'll kick it off for just a second to share a little bit, and then Macey has some great information about the volunteers, and she has spent a lot of time donating her time to Circles in Putnam County, which is the first chapter that we have open, and she has a lot of great firsthand knowledge that she could share about it. But the overarching goal of what Circles is I guess 30 years old now, and they've been in several states throughout the United States and even into Canada, and these Circle chapters are essentially a place that families can come that are in our program. They can come in, we have dinner for them, we have childcare for them, and it's a time for them to be able to focus on themselves and goal setting. And they really are able to wrap community around in that capacity as well, because that's where the bulk of our needs for our volunteers are, is to get those Circle chapters sustainable to carry them on after this grant period. So.
Okay. So you said you have a lot of experience, I guess, in that part of it.
Yeah, actually, yeah. So when the first cohort started, I went regularly. It's just really cool and a unique experience for those families to come in and sit down and talk with, other families that are in the same situation that they are. And just seeing the kids' face when they walk in every Thursday, or it's Thursday in Cookeville, but it's once a week. They're coming in, they're getting food, we're talking to them, asking them how their day is at school, and just seeing their face light up when they get there. It really is a cool experience.
I guess the kids look forward to it, because that's some time to reconnect with their friends.
Yes, yeah, they have playtime. So, and also they have a curriculum that they're learning. Just some soft skills.
And they're learning it kind of some behavioral stuff too. Like they get rewards for doing good at home, and the moms or dads will say, Jimmy was really great this week. He helped me with the dishes, and then we'll give him a special reward at Circles. And they love seeing their friends. And it's really cool, too, because the volunteers that come can bring their kids, too. So we have volunteers from all different walks of life. Some have come out of bad situations on their own, or some type of poverty situation, or even, have situational poverty at times, and or even they've never experienced it but want to help our families in any way that they can. So they'll often bring their own kids, and that's just such a great way in order to really wrap community around families, is to have middle and high income families meeting with lower income families. And there's a lot of research to be said about how the quickest way out of a bad financial situation is having friends in a different class, in a different socioeconomic class, and those friendships are what bring communities out of low-income situations faster than anything else. So it's a lot of research that went into that.
Yeah, I guess they're giving practical advice, things that they've learned, because we all, as we're raising our families, have learned a lot of life lessons on things.
Absolutely.
So sharing that, I guess, can help others. Now, I will put you on the spot because I do think it would be very valuable to name the counties, because even if it's not, I know Cannon County comes to mind, and I think we all in Warren County have lots of family in those areas and things. So what are all the counties?
Absolutely. All right, I'm going to look at the camera while I say
Okay, you go right ahead.
Cannon, Clay, Cumberland, DeKalb, Fentress, Jackson, Macon, Overton, Pickett, Putnam, Smith, TU, Van Buren, Warren, and White. Yes. I may have missed one, but I think I got all 14.
Okay, and all that is on the website too.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay, so talk to us, I guess, about families and how they apply or how they start with their navigator.
Yeah, so to apply, all you need to do is go to www.empoweruppercumberland.org, or by calling, and I have to look down for the phone number, 833-367-9782, and just answering a few questions on there, and then, our data team will assess and see if they think that you qualify for the program.
Yeah.
Well, I know we do have a few more minutes here, and when I think about UCHRA, I think about the wonderful ride, the buses that you all do. That has seemed like been a huge hit. I'm sure that's going over well in all the counties you serve.
Yeah, we have public transportation in all 14 counties of the Upper Cumberland, and the cool thing about public transportation is that it can go outside of the region. They just need to know ahead of time where they need to go. We do, I believe, 3 trips a day to Nashville out of Putnam County every day. I know we do go to Murfreesboro from this part of the region consistently. So public transportation, as we like to say, is for everybody, and anybody can utilize it. So that's definitely a good option. Our families utilize it as needed, and we're able to help support them through that. And all of the transportation is ran out of the county offices for UCHRA, and every county has a designated office, which is another location that they can go to learn more about Empower Upper Cumberland and complete the application and get in touch with us as well. So if we said the website too quickly or the number or anything else, they can always go to their local UCHRA and they can help them get in touch with us.
I was going to bring that up because every county that you mentioned has an office. Your navigators are going to be here local. It's not something that someone has to travel to another county to do. And then it's the same thing for the circles events too. That's all local as well. Is that right?
Yes, we're going to open 8 chapters throughout the 14 counties. So we're going to do our best to place some of them on county lines between maybe some smaller communities to get enough from both ends. And then, it's definitely local. Our navigators are also have really flexible schedules. It's not your typical Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30. They're able to kind of stretch that window and help families at times that they need it the most.
Right, okay. Is there anything, you guys are so busy with so many things, is there anything that we have missed that you all need to talk about as far as important parts of the program goes?
Well, I think that we touched on the most important part is that, we do have to be a family, and there is an eligibility process. At the end of the day, it is state and federal money that we have to provide this great service for. So there's a little bit of an enrollment process, but the application is super quick, and the biggest thing that I would say would be, even if you're remotely interested, just apply. We will figure out the rest. We'll walk you through it, and we're not going to make you do it alone. And if you're not eligible for any reason, we are going to put you into contact with a program that we think might be able to help you.
That's what I was going to say, because even if you're single or elderly, or UCHRA has programs that benefit and help, seems like any demographic of people as far as age groups and things like that go.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you guys are a wonderful resource, and we're very thankful to have you all in our region here. You do a great job.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it. Well, there's a great team at both agencies, and we are really lucky to be a part of this area.
Well, thank you. And I'll say thank you to our audience for joining us today. We hope you found it interesting and informational, and we invite you to come back again next next week for more Table Talk.